pets, but do you love yours enough to clone them? You can. There's a company called Viagen Pets. It promises to make a carbon copy of your beloved animals so they can keep living even after they die. The company famously cloned Barbra Streisand's dog Sammy, not once but twice back in 2018. And now pet influencers are getting in on the action, using the service to make sure their famous animals' Instagram profiles don't have to go when they're gone. Here's CNBC's Andrea Day on the famous fur babies getting a second life.
Tinkerbell the dog has social media. She is a verified celebrity on all platforms. Her followers are over 800,000 followers combined.
Meet Tinkerbell, a 5-pound rescue who's mingled with more A-list celebs than most humans. Sam Carroll's full-time job, managing her dog's modeling career.
She's been in the theater, and they do TV and film and Fashion Week. They walk in shows, they sit front row.
Tinkerbell is 10 years old. In dog years, that's about 60. She says cloning company Viagen reached out about a partnership, and now she's thinking about duplicating her little star.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but definitely her celebrity status plays a key in everything and every decision I make in life. Definitely her celebrity status plays a key in everything and every decision I make in life.
Sound far-fetched? Not for this social media influencer and her dog Phoenix. Courtney Udvar-Hazy started an Instagram account to document her dog Willow's life. But Willow was barely 2 when she was hit by a car, her life tragically ending.
She was like my child, my everything. So I was in a position where I just would have done anything just to have her legacy continue.
So Courtney continued her legacy with a genetic replica. Her account now filled with images of Willow's clone, Phoenix.
So what a cloned animal is it's just essentially an identical twin of the original pet.
Viagen's Melaine Rodriguez says she's never seen so many people looking to recreate their pets.
The phone is ringing off the hook.
She says the process starts out with a small skin sample that can be taken from the animal when it's alive and then stored to use later, or within 5 days after a pet dies.
That tissue sample comes back into our lab that you see here, and we grow millions of cells from that skin sample. We take an egg from a donor animal, then that egg and the cell are fused together and an embryo starts to grow. Then those embryos are put into a surrogate animal who will gestate, give birth.
And sometimes the owners get a lot more than they bargained for, like Phoenix and 5 more identical genetic copies.
I couldn't believe that that was real. All of the girls were coming out of the car.
You guys are so big!
Some people might buy a car. I bought a clone.
Kelly Anderson was devastated when she lost her cat Chai, and says the cat's social media account also hit hard.
I lost about 20,000 followers on Instagram after Chai passed.
So she stored Chai's DNA and waited 4 years for a clone. She's now back
Are these
in
people
business
motivated by the love of their pet or the money that their pet generates for them? Disgusting if that's the case.
I think that she was the most important part of my life.
So what's the price tag? At Viagen, cloning a dog will cost you $50 grand, a cat $35. The company won't reveal details of any influencer partnerships, but there are critics.
Cloning is not something that the Humane Society of the United States recommends. At any given time, there are millions of healthy, adoptable animals that need homes. And that's really what you should be doing if you're thinking about expanding your family to include a companion animal.
People have problems with how much money it is, but at the end of the day, it's my money and no one really should be telling other people how to spend their own money.
Would you clone your pet to keep your career, keep your money train, your money wagon going? Or would you be happy to let them rest in peace? And maybe go to the shelter and find a nice little pet that's looking for a new forever home where you can start a new adventure in life together. See, this is all about, look at this, I lost 20,000 Instagram followers when Shai passed. So the need and desire to clone the animal was based on money and their own ego and their influencer experience. Now, these cloning companies are trying to influence these weak, very, very shallow people that put their whole life on these social media platforms, which has become a surge of society in my regards. The worst thing is when you read this, it talks about how they do the process, how they take a little skin sample from the living animal of 5 days from when it's deceased, and then they put it into a embryo where it grows and grows. They then, when it's sustainable, they then put it into a surrogate. That surrogate then, obviously, because cats and dogs have multi-litters, that's just how they are. They might even put a few in there in case one doesn't survive, like with the in vitro that they do with the human babies. And when the babies are born, if any of them are deformed or have some health issue, because they are cloned DNA, they then will destroy those. They normally have these cloned animals twice, have 2 different litters, so they'll use them twice. So it's like a legal puppy farm, which everyone is disgracing. The puppies that go to the pet shops and all of those that are bred purely for their genes to sell on the market for money with the breeders. And they're doing the same thing with these clones. They'll let an animal be the surrogate for twice, and then they euthanize them. So, you're creating a life, an artificial memory of a life for you, for your greed and your own personal satisfaction to say, oh, yeah, on my Instagram, I have my cloned cat or I have my cloned dog. Look at this. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. And you are living a life of friggin' lies and deception, while some poor animal is in a cage waiting for its next implant, and then it's going to be euthanized when it's no longer effective or no longer fresh. And, I think this is evil and sinister, and I don't like one part of it. So it's, please do not do this. We think things are bad with the way the health system is moving forward now that they're going for our children. This is the first step. Remember when Dolly, the Dolly the sheep, got cloned all those years ago, and what an outcry that was. Even, in Australia, we have certain rules about cloning. It was hard for South Australia to even get cloning of certain produce, for the market. And I'm talking about grains and wheats. It was like, no, you're not allowed to do that, because once they come to bud, they are not, their actual seed does not replicate. It's one cycle only, because the DNA is destroyed. It's damaged. It's not sustainable for life. And this is what I've been fearing all along for this whole changing technology that changes and adapts things, whether it's Elon Musk or whether it's Mr. Gates. I don't know whoever's doing it. I don't like any of it. I think you don't tamper with what God made for us, whether it's an animal, a plant, or a human. And this is why I've been saying for the last 2.5 years that they've been harvesting of DNA and genes for a big database, because they know that when this technology rolls out, what was pure won't be anymore.